What is up, Crime Crew? Welcome to a very special episode of Murder Unscripted. This is not part of our regular lineup, but it is our 1 year anniversary of being on the air. Like, what?
Our POD-iversary.
Oh, the POD-iversary, yes. 1 year of putting out content. And we have not missed.
We have not.
Not a single week. And this isn't going to be a true crime case. This is more about kind of a state of the pod, kind of what we've learned over the past year. Some people haven't even really got to know us. So we're going to do a quick little re-get to know you. And also just kind of tell you what we have planned. We got some big stuff coming up and yeah, wild.
Yeah, so this is the day this comes out, Wednesday, June 4th, will be our 1 year because our first episode released on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024. So
Good.
We are super excited about it. We're super excited to kind of talk about our journey getting here. And then actually, when Ed and I are done, we are going to bring on our research producers, Candace and Sue, to talk about how they kind of started on here with us.
Yeah, because they're such a big part of what we're doing too. Like, we learned pretty early on that this is not a two-person gig. So you need help if you want to thrive. But for those who don't know, Melissa and I met on a different podcast, and we met so randomly.
Yes.
And I don't know if many people know this story, so we didn't even answer the same. Long story short, I was unemployed. Cold Case Files had shut down for a little bit, and it was like, what's next? We didn't know what was happening. No one was renewing the show, so I was kind of sitting at home just waiting for waiting for the call, but it never came. Right, so then randomly, Brenda yells from the other room. So she's working from home, and I'm on the couch doing God knows what. And she goes, "Hey, I just saw this ad for a local podcast that there's looking for hosts." And I was like, "Oh my God, what a great way to kill time and stay busy doing true crime."
Right.
Like I wanted to be doing, but couldn't. But so she alerted me to this. I wrote in and was chosen as a host, and it turned out to be not for me. It was just it just wasn't a good fit. So I didn't stay long, but Melissa had a similar experience where you didn't actually respond to the ad either. Your mom did.
Yeah, I responded, but my mom came across it one day, and I think she screenshot it and sent it to me, and she was just kind of like, "Hey, you should check this out." And I did, and wrote in, and they picked me as well. I am still a part of that podcast. But yeah, it was just so odd because neither one of us had kind of been looking for anything. Ed was unemployed, I was recovering from some medical stuff, and I just needed something to do kind of as well. So That is how we met, and just kind of from our first get together with everyone, we kind of clicked immediately, and it just worked out from there.
Yeah, and so at some point down the road, we will post, there's one episode where Melissa and I first debuted as a team, and it exists, it's out there, it's audio only, but someday we'll post that for you guys so you can see our very first recording together.
There's actually a couple good ones.
There are a couple good ones, but ones that we were featured that was just the two of us. So it'll come up again because there's a guest next month that August. I lied. It'll come up again. So we'll revisit that. But I don't know. How do you think? So 1 year in, how I feel good. I feel like humbled, I guess is the word. Like I definitely went into this thinking, there's 100,000 true crime podcasts out there. How could we be different? And it was like, let's focus on me being a producer. Some of the cases that I have all this great insight on because there was no one else doing it. And the problem is I went in there thinking this would be so interesting to so many people right away. And maybe it is. It may still be, but we were having trouble breaking through that crust, that first layer. Like we're a couple subscribers short of 1,500. So in 1 year, which is awesome. So that's huge, but that took consistently posting. It took money. Like you have to advertise. It takes constant. I don't think there's a day that goes by where we don't do something pod related. Like it's
100%. Our texts in the morning start with something pod. Our texts during the day are generally something pod. And then at night it's, "Hey, when do you want to go over for the pod tomorrow? Yeah. What can I be doing?"
It's literally a full-time job. And I think that, I don't know, I do believe that consistency is the way the growth will come. Like, I don't think that it's us. I think we're putting out a good product. We're putting a lot of time and effort into making the visual product look good. So I think it's just an exposure thing that, I don't know, but it's definitely humbling, I think is the word. Where it's like...
I agree. And I think something that's harder than we were expecting originally is kind of appealing to all the different platforms. You kind of have to know what's trending on Facebook versus having to know what's trending on Instagram versus Blue Sky versus so on and so forth. So for two people who aren't the youngest and hippest, some of the social
Why
media...
don't you speak for yourself?
I was mostly speaking for you, but I didn't want you to feel bad.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, so...
How HR of you.
Exactly. So I think some of the social media aspect was a little bit eye-opening.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, so our YouTube production is 16:9 widescreen, and for every different platform, it has to be different. Like, most of the shorts are 9:16, the portrait mode, but like Reels and Facebook, I guess they're Reels on Instagram and Facebook, can't be longer than a minute and a half. So now all of a sudden you're running into like a clip that works on TikTok, which can be however long. Now it doesn't work on Facebook, so you have to tailor that for Facebook. And it's like different descriptions, different edit. They want you to use their editing software for them to really promote it. So there's probably 5 different things we have to do each week just to get an episode out and some clips and some things posted on socials to help it grow. It's insane.
I will say I love the research. I think that's one of my favorite parts of this. I think it's fascinating, and I wish everyone could see like my favorites list online, because it's just like I just keep coming across new cases and saving them. It's also fun to kind of tailor our episodes to the theme. To pick a theme and then to have to be like, okay, I need a case that's going to fit in this perfectly, and how can I connect it?
And I think that's the one thing I really love about what we're doing, is that I don't see that anywhere else.
Right.
Like you see other pods, and they're doing just random case after random case, which is great. It's a winning formula. So we tried to stand out in that way too. And it is fun because like we haven't been bitten by it yet. I mean, Shannon Byers, the one guest, so that was an example of like something we had planned out that just didn't work out. And so you're kind of locked into that theme then. So that's the only downside, but we make it work, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's fun to find obscure cases that are still interesting and still tragic, and the victim still needs to be talked about, but maybe people haven't come across them before, so we get that opportunity.
It's true. Very true. Challenges we didn't expect. So, I mean, I think we got into some of those, just the craziness that comes with just getting these episodes up. I was kind of surprised by the amount of money that has to be dumped into it's a hobby, a glorified hobby that we're trying to make something bigger out of. But man,
it's expensive.
Between all the subscriptions for the different for the streaming platforms, for the website hosting, for the website itself, it's like just endless. All the subscriptions for these research sites, it's a money suck, big time. But it is what it is, and if you want it to be good,
I think something else that's sort of a challenge, but something we weren't expecting, and it's kind of different for you and I. We have gotten the majority of positive feedback online from people we don't know and from our own friends and family.
Yeah.
But there are the occasional people who don't love us
Trolls,
or even want us to exist. So, I was expecting more of that because I think I'm so negative.
You're very negative.
But I don't think we're expecting any of that, or at least not some of the stuff that's been said.
Can I tell you why? So every show I've been a part of has done the promotion already. Like you see, you expect to go into it being set up for success.
Yeah.
So you're going on to Cold Case Files and you're putting out an episode that you worked. They're doing they're promoting Cold Case Files. It's a show that everybody loves, right?
Yes.
So you don't have those. You'll have people that will give you bad reviews on the show or the episode.
Right.
But like you're not set up to get personally attacked like this,
Right.
where you are front and center. And people sometimes don't take the time to get to know us. They don't know our personalities and our style and what's truly behind what we're doing.
Right.
And they shit on it real quick. And I do definitely take it to heart because again, I'm used to like putting out crime things and they're well received.
Right.
So that's a real honest answer.
For me, I was expecting more. I'm like, wow, they want me to die but not burn in hell? This is great.
So
they
that's
love
just
me.
a straight death. Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it.
It's just wild. I mean, and I think we're just learning you cannot please everybody. And I need to have a thicker skin because I'm just so connected to the victims and these law enforcement officers and stuff. So when I read these things, I feel like it's a personal attack against not them, but like,
Yeah.
you know
No,
what I
I
mean?
get that.
Like they don't take the time to get to know the person you are, and just because you joke around or make a tongue-in-cheek comment, it's not changing the big picture of what you're trying to do.
Right.
So that's frustrating.
What has been like your favorite thing going forward? Or so far, I'm sorry.
Favorite thing going forward? I have no idea.
What has been your favorite thing so far?
Man, so far. Man,
Besides working with me, number one.
That is
numero uno.
That is not right. I'm forced to. I'm at a workplace. I don't have a choice. We got a message from somebody in the Stanley Edwards case, and that was one from our second block. Mm-hmm. That it was that really super sad case that it was about a 12-year-old who kind of trusted some older boys and was led into the woods, and it was one that Melissa and I cried for minutes on end. It was tough to get through, but that was at the point we were so new at that time. We had like 25 subscribers.
If that.
I mean,
yeah.
if that, it was so minimal. But somebody wrote in that knew Stanley and was like, I'm not sure how. First of all, that case was so obscure. I don't know if many other people have covered it. But then for this guy to write in and be like, I was a childhood friend of Stanley's.
Yeah.
And these are the memories. I mean, that was a cool moment because that was at a time when I thought we were reaching nobody except our family and friends. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of cool. Getting good feedback from guests is big for me. Like, I don't have one in particular, but there's nothing that I like. Hell with everybody who comments on these things. If the guests that we're interviewing and the families and the cops, if they say what a great experience that was, it doesn't matter if it's 10 people or 10 million people it seems. You know, we're doing right by them.
Agreed.
So
And that's what matters most, the people closest to the victim.
Absolutely.
Ultimately.
100%. All right, so we actually have some of our research producers joining us now, Candace and, oh my God, Sue. Jesus Christ, I just blanked on her name.
Did you miss
Wait,
the
Sue,
giant
says
place
Sue.
where it says Sue?
It says Sue there. I'm like, and the other one. Yeah. Sorry, Sue.
I thought brain fog
No
was
worries.
only common with menopausal women.
I feel like I'm close. That's kind of how I feel inside.
Are you having hot flashes?
I am. It's like, geez. Oh my gosh. But so for people who haven't got a chance, we obviously put a post out online when we brought you guys on. I guess the overarching theme was that we were knee deep in this and realizing that we could really use a hand. Mm-hmm. And so you guys had reached out kind of similar to how we did looking for a podcast.
Yeah.
And I think it was because, Candace, like I know you reached out because you and I have a history.
Absolutely. And I had missed true crime so much. I had transitioned over into the reality TV world, and although I did love that, like true crime is like really my passion. So when I saw the job posting, I was like, oh my God, this is my chance to get back into true crime because I missed it so much. I'm like literally like a couch detective. I go to bed on true crime at night. I know it's weird, but I like go to sleep on it. It puts me to sleep. So this was the perfect opportunity for me to get back into it.
And was the best part about the job the pay? Like, how much does it pay? I'm like, we have stickers.
Yay! But
Well,
the stickers
although
and
right
glittery-
now it's just a volunteer basis, I do believe
Yeah,
in
for now. We're
in the bigger picture, and I saw the vision that you guys have in place, and I'm on board with it, and it's absolutely going to grow into something so much bigger. So I see the bigger picture, and I really wanted to be a part of it.
That's amazing. Well, we can't thank you enough. We're so excited to have you here. I mean, it's great having somebody with your background. So, guys, for those who don't know, when Candace turns in an episode that she's working on, I'm like, Candace, you gotta reel it back in. Like the stuff you present is like we're on a show. You have a full treatment. You have timings. You have everything. And I'm like, this girl has it going on. Like this is unbelievable. But I feel bad. You're like doing more. You're doing so much.
So
like,
she's doing what I had to talk you out of.
Exactly
Yeah,
right. Because
okay.
that's all we know. I'm telling you, we come from the Sirens factory where it's like, this is how we pump out crime shows. This is the way we know.
It's really hard to kind of dial that back, Melissa and Sue, because like we have like deadlines and like we have to, everything is like this. And so I'm just like a program to be like a machine and like getting so much like done in such a small amount of time, during shows. And it's a little different on the podcast side, and I'm still learning how the podcast world works, and so it's going to take a minute.
Yeah, same. It's a whole different beast. Like we were talking to our recent guests that we had on just about how writing for this is so much different than writing for television, because there's no act outs, there's no commercial breaks, there's no real flow. You can kind of create your own story flow. Mm-hmm. Like I noticed that you write differently than I write, than Melissa writes, than Sue writes, and it just I think there's no right way to tell a story.
Yeah.
So,
as long as the story gets told to the best of the ability, I mean, hey.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right. So, in just the couple months and this will, as Sue, we'll transition over to you then. But like Candace, in the couple months that you've been here, what's kind of what's your takeaway? Like, how have you been enjoying it? Have you been has it been what you thought it was going to be? Have you any hurdles that were like unexpected?
Do you have an ed dartboard like I do?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, with any new project and coming on board, especially when people already have a system going, my outlook on it is that there's always going to be obstacles and challenges, right? But it's all in how we work together collaboratively as a team to tackle those obstacles and challenges, head on, and not get defeated by the circumstances of those challenges. Everybody's input matters. Teamwork makes the dream work. I've learned something from each and every one of you, and I hope to continue, to learn, because I don't know everything and I don't pretend to know everything. And if I'm struggling with something, I like that you guys are like very supportive. And if there's any questions or anything that I'm having trouble with, I feel comfortable in coming to you and saying, hey, I'm not feeling too good about this, or I need help with this. And it feels very supportive and like a safe space to be in. And so I really value that.
Well, and what the difference is that we're not on these crazy budgets. I feel like with what you and I deal with at these production houses, the stress level's through the roof, because every week that passes, that's another $40,000 out the window of just staff pay. Like if a case falls through and you need to bring people on, every week you bring people on, you're not bringing one person, you're bringing a team to stay on. So It's like, I feel like tensions run high. I feel like sometimes you don't have the time to think things through, because it's like just go, 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 go. Where here, we're a little more, we have some flexibility where if we could just not put out an episode. And that's the thing that's going to kill you instantly.
Right.
But we could hypothetically just not release an episode if things are too busy. So like, I think that's where a lot of that comes from, is that we have the luxury of just working at an incredible pace, but also a comfortable one where we can all kind of thrive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Sue, just like Candace and I knew each other before, it was kind of weird because we both had people respond to the ad that were like, it was like we were picking teams for kickball. I'm like, I'll take Candace. You're like, oh, I got Sue. I knew her. So you and Melissa knew each other from years ago, which is crazy.
Yes. I guess I was like big sister, Melissa. I think that's the best way to maybe say it, because I was doing the math and I think we've known each other for 20 years.
Holy crap.
You guys are
That's
talking about
wild.
Me. You make fun of me for being old.
I'm pretty sure it was 2005.
Yeah.
I think. Right?
I think so.
Like, yeah. We went to college together. I had started my first 2 years at Shippensburg, and then I transferred home and I continued my education at Westchester, and lo and behold, Melissa and I we got paired up for a small group project, and we bonded instantly for a very specific reason. And
what guy was it? That's all I would.
No, just the worst part wasn't. We just picked up vibes from somebody, and we were both like,
"This is so
we need to take a break." So we were like, I think I might have hit my limit a little, and I was like, I think I need a break. I gotta go get a snack. And Melissa's like, I'm coming with you.
Yes.
Oh, so it's over food, not a guy.
It was
food.
over our group members. Thank you.
That makes way more sense.
And then we went outside. No, but we went outside, and I was like, I'm going to lose my cool. And she was like, oh my God, me too. And literally that was it. Like after that, it was, Melissa was my pal, and we just hung out, and we were in a bunch of classes, and I don't think I realized how much of an impact I had on you by what professors to take classes with.
Yes.
And it, because obviously I'm a little bit older, but yeah, so it was super awesome. And just the fact that a full cycle of all the things have come to be, and here we are literally 20 years later, and I'm finally using my degree in what we're doing. I've never had a job that I can truly say was 100% using my communication studies degree from Westchester University.
That's awesome.
But here we are 20 years later.
Well,
Took a while.
and Sue, I've never told
Why
you
are you
this.
yelling?
Am I yelling?
Jesus Christ.
I'm yelling at you. I'm very far from the microphone, thank you.
For a reason.
Because I'm too loud in general. Well, I've never told Sue this. I told you what just hit you too. I'm screaming and hitting you. This is normal,
That's not what's
though.
happening.
I said to Ed, I was like, Sue is probably the main reason that I stayed at Westchester. I was so unhappy my freshman year.
Oh.
And I was like, this place is not for me. I didn't love it. And I feel like I met you, and I like felt better because I had someone older than me like supporting me like a big sister. So you are like probably like 80% of the reason I stayed at Westchester and graduated. And yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. I do remember you did have some drama going on back then. I do remember some.
Back then.
I hate saying story. No, I hate saying good stories, but like you definitely, it was like there was definitely some like, so what's going on now, and getting the fill in. You did have some stuff going on. So, but I'm glad that I could positively impact, and I hope I did not give you any terrible advice because I'm pretty good at that.
You did not. You gave great advice.
So Sue, did you were a true crime fan obviously before all this? So is that what made you, when you saw our post, what made you kind of reach out?
Okay, so short version of the story is last summer, my husband and I were sitting out on our deck, and our neighbor was over, and we were, having a very nice evening, fire, just hanging out. And I randomly blurted out that I have this secret lifelong dream that I want to write. Like, I want to write a book, a novel. I don't know what I want to write about. I don't know what my story is. I've been making up characters sort of along the way, and I just want to write. And then I realized, I just said that out loud. And when I say things out loud, I tend to try to find a way to then make it come to fruition. And obviously, true crime is something that I've been very, very into. I have a now 2-year-old toddler plus 3 big boys that are all almost high school and out of high school. So it just felt like this right time where it was like, hey, this is a really, like, I said it out loud, and like the universe put an opportunity in front of me, and I would have been really silly to not take it or to not throw my name in the ring and whatnot. And I had no idea I literally had no idea what was going to be involved in anything, but I'm like, well, it's Melissa, so she can do it, I can do it.
Yes, true.
It's not to me, but I'm like, oh, she can
I say
do
that
it.
when I tie my shoes. Yeah.
So that's where that was, and I think I sent like a message, and I don't know if it got read for like a day or two. So then I'm like going through my phone, or I messaged you on whatever, and it was just one of those things where I was like, now I feel like a stalker. But I'm glad it worked out, and it's been awesome, and I'm like super super enjoying everything that we're doing.
Are you?
Gil says hi, everyone. This is Ed's dog, Gil, who's my buddy. Oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. So he just wants to say hello to everyone.
She's into Australian men.
Yes. Poor buddy.
Guys, I'm on an Australia kick.
Yeah, there you go.
I know.
There's one.
I know. I love the Blue Healer. I'm all about Australia right now, and I really apologize that cases that I am bringing are very Australia based,
That's
but
all right.
that algorithm
We love them.
pumps them all out now. So I will make my way. I told my husband yesterday or today I will be in New South Wales at some point in my life, and we will do a nice long vacation, an actual vacation, but we will be going to all of the crime places that I am now intimately familiar with.
That's awesome.
Because I know the map a little too well, but I do apologize to our Australian listeners because I probably get a lot wrong.
That happens. So, what question for both of you guys? So, is this what you expected, Sue, when you said you wanted to get a chance to write? Now that we kind of have our responsibilities like divvied up and kind of what everyone's doing each month, is this kind of what you expected? And then Candace, my question for you is, you come from a casting background. So like, is this different for you? Both of you guys, I feel like getting so invested in your stories, which is, in my opinion, the first thing you need to do to properly tell the story. So is it weird for both of you to be this, have your finger on the pulse of a true crime case that involves real people?
Well, for me, even though I had come from a casting background, again, you and I worked together on true crime shows. And believe it or not, like when cases that came my way as far as what I needed to look for as far as casting someone and getting them in, the first step for them was to come to me. So believe it or not, I actually would write the sides. First, I would take the information that was given to me at the time from producers and write the sides for them to act out. And I would like pull out certain scenes that I feel like would have stood out to producers in order, to get who I was looking at cast. And then from the reality standpoint, even though I started in casting and then, once Sirens got bought out and I had to transition into the reality TV world, I was a producer on reality TV shows as segment. But I always wanted to do more and write more. I feel like even as a casting director, like I'm multifaceted and I can do a lot of things, but I was just always put in a box. And even working on as a producer on Cold Case Files on the show that you and we didn't work on the same team or whatever, but we did work on the same show. Mm-hmm. I was able to, show a little bit of, my writing side there, but I still didn't get the full opportunity, to do so. And so with this, I have more, I would say, not, I don't have all the creative freedom, but I'm able to be creative, in my writing and show more of what I can do versus being that person that I was put in the box as just the casting director. So I really appreciate that aspect of it.
Awesome. And then what is it like to see your writing then come to life? Because it's I haven't written something for anyone else other than myself. So it's weird. It must be weird to see what you've written be hosted by somebody else.
Actually, it's not real. I mean, it's just kind of surreal. When I watch the episodes after they air whatever, I just have to give myself a little pat on the back.
Good for you. Absolutely.
Like, wow, I did that, and I'm just so proud of myself. And again, I'm really appreciative of the opportunity and for you guys, especially you, Ed, giving me the opportunity and allowing me to shine where I feel like I wasn't seen.
Well, you are a diamond, my friend, so you shine well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Sue, how about you? So you write these things now for essentially a full episode. I mean, an hour-long episode of true crime content is on air thanks to you.
I agree with Candace. It is surreal. I typically end up watching our episodes at the Y on the treadmill, and I have caught myself laughing out loud. Not at the kid, obviously not the case, but at oh, exactly the way I wanted that line or that thought or whatever to come through, or like put a cheesy hook or a joke or something in there, and it's like, oh, they knew what I meant and they did, and you know what I mean. So that's really cool. And And I agree with Candace as well that the awesome thing about where we are right now as a team is that being able to say, hey, I know this is the format we're working in, but I have an idea because there's this component, and like, one, is this within our capabilities? The most recent case that I just did, Jesse and Luke, and really bringing in the social media because it was such a brand new episode, and like dotting all of our I's and crossing all of our T's and making sure that everything is actually usable and really figuring that out and kind of getting intimately involved with understanding what is going on with this case, or what are we trying to tell, or what are we trying to convey. And then like I write a script and I like get halfway through and I hate it and I completely scratch it and then I start again, and usually it's like, I think probably to the frustration of my family, because I'm like, I'm writing. I mean, I've got 4 kids. I've got a million people that I'm like, everybody leave me alone, and all that kind of stuff. But trying to, really just put it to light. And I just want to do justice to the stories that we're telling. And I think that's the part that I will probably eventually have to toughen up a little bit, because I don't ever want to hurt anybody. I don't want to ever be sensationalizing anything, because these are people and horrific things happen in the world. And I agree with Candace. I also listen to crime and murder podcasts to fall asleep.
Me
like
too.
I put my AirPod in and I'm like, boom, my whole brain shuts down and I go to sleep. It's great, right? But so I just really look at it from the humanistic side. What are we trying to tell? What are we trying to convey? I have no problem going in on anybody who perpetrated any of these things, because, wow, as one podcast out there says, you can feel bad for the child. As an adult, we all make decisions. So
right.
I don't feel bad for the adult that made the decision to do really horrific stuff. And if you turn out to be a douche, you're going to get called out for it. So that's kind of all there is on that one. But the people, I really do I just want to try to bring them to life, or understand their complexities, or what may have been the guide or the gauge or the events that created who they were, or what happened, or and those kind of things. But the creativity has been really awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a creative outlet, and it's very cool.
And I love.
I think that's one of the one. Oh, go ahead, Ken.
No, I just real quick. I love the fact that when you mentioned earlier, like, we all have different writing styles. But I do see that, like when you guys air the episode, you guys still put in, change it up a little bit and, make it work for your tone, but still kind of sort of keep it to the script and like what I have written. So I really appreciate that. I mean, you have to make it your own to where the wording feels comfortable for you, and I get that, and I totally understand that. But I do love the fact, and I do see that you kind of keep to the script of what's written, and I do appreciate that. And I also love being a voice to some of the voiceless, especially the family and the family members and friends who sometimes their voices get lost in the headlines of certain cases, like the Patrick Dennehy case. And us being able, to tell those things and have family members come on an interview and actually speak their truth.
Absolutely. And on that note, when we were talking about having these cases be in our own tone, that's a challenge that that I forgot about. So the challenge of being yourself.
Yeah.
Staying respectful to the story, but also letting your personality shine through. And it's like this, when your personality is one that's so jovial and so jokey, and just, that's how I am with not crime, but with everything in my life. That's just who I am.
Well, and I tend to have a morbid sense of humor.
Exactly.
Which doesn't always translate well. But
exactly.
I will agree with Sue about something. one of my favorite parts of doing the podcast is talking shit on the perpetrator. Because it's basically the things that I scream at people in traffic, or like, think about my boss, I just say it as the perpetrator.
And that's totally fine. And we try to balance that line, because man, it is the comments will start the second you veer too far off that line. The comments start, the negativity, and it's like, man, where is the balance between who we are, what we're trying to tell, and also being crazy respectful, because these are real cases and real people. So that is definitely one of the biggest challenges, I would say.
Yes, I would agree
with that. Well, where do you ladies see us in another year, on our second year on air? Do you have big plans? Like, do you see this thing becoming bigger? Maybe
Absolutely.
There's some things that we haven't gotten to yet.
Like a live show. That's
Ooh, Candace called us out.
a live podcast. Yes,
I'm not dropping any hints, but maybe for the 100th. Just saying. 40.
Candace set the bar. She threw it down. Challenge accepted. But I kind of feel like, guys, if we're gonna go live, I kind of feel like it might need to be all four for like, because like we've said, like we all have different styles, but I think that would be fun and sort of unexpected. But Candace, I think she threw the challenge out.
All right, well, challenge accepted, because we have something in mind that I'm not even going to tell you what it is, because it's so not a thing yet. It's just like a fleeting idea. But I have it all planned out in my head, but I'm not revealing anything in case I can't pull it off. And then, but yes, fantastic idea. I think we should do that.
We never thought of it.
Wink, wink. Awesome. Well, how about, I guess, the last question is, what does this podcast mean to you? So being able to work on this for free, it's not easy. There's still duties and stuff that we all have to do, and we're not getting paid to do it. Mm-hmm. So it's really just the allure of getting these cases brought to light. And even though some of them have already been out there, it's maybe a different perspective, or maybe it's just one more avenue where somebody could hear the story and maybe, I don't know, learn something from it, or keep somebody they know out of trouble. Just a cautionary tale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good. I think thinking back to my tongue-tied, meandering through Westchester with Melissa days, and some dive bars and some other fun shenanigans that we probably got ourselves into trouble with. I mean, there's no reason why Melissa and I weren't, in a situation that was in it. And, again, I have 4 kids, and I think that, like, talking, like, they all know, they watch our episodes. I'm like, hit subscribe. Actually, they've all subscribed.
Yay!
My oldest was our 1,000th subscriber.
That's what we need to. We need to strong arm people to subscribing. I think that's where we're missing out. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think that like the Patrick case that Candace went into and did, like that shouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? And so and again, as we all know on this team, I am incredibly invested in the Jesse and Luke story and case, and their story should never have happened. And I think for myself, it is a matter of, in a weird maternal bit of being like, wow, we made it through the 2000s, like the early 2000s, doing some real sketchy shit out there, guys. Yep. And, and so it's like, if I can even tell cautionary parenting things to my kids through what we're doing, they find it more entertaining and they're more willing to listen to it. So like, if I can give them that little voice inside their head to actually think about things and to, read the room and perceive what's going on around them, and to be more mindful and be more aware. And, unfortunately, like for us women, we have to only wear one AirPod if you go out for a walk or, or whatever. You can't have both AirPods in, and Ed, you can, and
I only have one.
And
so I
that's
don't know.
what you
I'm
just, if we're
But, and always having your head on a swivel and just being mindful of paying attention to cars and what the difference in body styles and the difference in colors, and would you call this silver? Would you call it gunmetal when you talk about a car color? Like, it's such a small thing, but it's such a big thing if it needs to be. And so, I don't know. I think being able to almost parent through what we're doing in a more entertaining style, but my kids they actually kind of think that like I'm a little bit cool for doing it. So I'm like, win.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good with that. I'll take it. So
pretty
in
good.
that respect, but I hope that translates outside of obviously my own little pod bubble family, but that it translates to other people, and that people can maybe take something from what we say or how we say it and how we tell it to, you know, to think about it and to be like, nope, not getting into that car. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's funny, Candace, because you and I talk on the side sometimes, just to have phone calls, and some, not to get too, so I'll leave this vague because you tell as much as you want, but that what Sue just said kind of resonates with you too, about some of these things that you've covered in these cases, you have personal experience with.
Yes,
and
I was just going to talk.
It hits
about
different.
Yeah, it hits different for me, because a lot of it hits home and is very relatable. One case we did specifically, the Christy Giles case, I had my drink actually spiked in a club, and thankfully I was able to get out of that situation untouched and unharmed, because I was on the phone with my sister during the time that I was in the club, and she was able to come and get me before the situation could have gone down another road. Yeah. It was not
one you don't want to be on.
Exactly. It was not a pleasant experience. And I love the fact that some of these cases puts awareness back in the forefront, especially for women, to be mindful of your situations. Just to piggyback off of Sue was saying, you know, not wearing, you know, making sure you have just like one AirPod in your ear. Because even like when I walk, I don't like to put my headphones on because I'm constantly on alert, like all the time, especially from after this incident. When I'm out, like if I do go out in a social setting, I make sure that like if I'm out with a friend, like she's there, like watching my drink, and she puts like a napkin over it. I'm constantly like even watching the bartenders make it, because a lot of times these bartenders are on it are in on it as
Yes,
well. It's like a big group of people trying to get, you know, women and doing all the things, and they're all working together. So I'm constantly on alert. I just like the fact that some of these cases like bring awareness to certain situations.
Very good. Well,
Agreed.
we could not be doing this without you guys. So seriously, thank you. I know you've only been here a couple months, but you've helped us so much in those couple months. Like just get through what we were hitting a brick wall as far as bandwidth and just hours in the day to do all this. So seriously, thank you guys. And as far as goals for us that I had set for this next coming year, audience growth is one of them. Figuring out a way to get this product that I really, really believe in. Like, I think it looks good. I think I spend so much time, every little and lip smack I take out in the audio. Like, I go through that track like it's a...
Are you singling out my...
we'll start. I'll show you one of your waves.
Oh, I know. It's bad. It's
The
really
graphics
bad.
are amazing, by the way.
Good.
All the graphics. It's so
good.
Dope. So good.
We sit there on Canva and on all these things, design all these freaking things. So, like, I definitely want to see that pay off, because it's not that I don't appreciate what we're doing. Like, every single one of our listeners we love so much. I mean, you drive us. But I feel like for all the hours that we're putting in a week, I would like to see this reach a bigger audience. And it's just how do we do that? So that's one for me. A Patreon. Maybe coming up. So some kind of little $4.99 a month, maybe one extra case a month, some cool swag, something like that to offer a Patreon. And I think we mentioned filming something awesome for our 100th. So I had big plans for that. So there'll be more on that. And then a studio space, like doing something like this together in a studio space, but it's a whole different beast. Like, it's not just popping up your laptop and recording. It's now a much bigger production that we just don't have the time, space, or money now for, but we hope to in the next year. So we will see where this goes. But seriously, thank you two. Oh, go ahead.
Ed, that's what the treehouse is for.
I need my room.
I knew you built the treehouse for the kids. I honestly, when I saw I'm like, that's the pod studio.
Saying it's for the kids was the only way I was allowed to build it. So.
I will 100% come climb the ladder.
I fell asleep in there the other day. I went up there. I built a bench with a little, like, 2 big cushions, and I was like in the treehouse like a 5-year-old asleep.
Oh my gosh. Well, Candace, you're gonna have to come up at like once a week.
Yeah,
No problem.
To the Philly area, and Ed has the treehouse. He'll be the pod lab.
We'll see how it goes.
And if he fell asleep in there, I mean, obviously it's cozy, and if we really make him, he will make it air controlled.
Right.
So
We got this.
Whatever you guys need, as long as it's solar power. Whatever you need. Well, guys, seriously, thank you so much for joining the team and for doing all that you do, and thank you for all you do
for existing.
See,
I mean, should we do a toast though, guys? Too.
I think so. For
I think so.
100 episodes, or wait,
Yes.
it's not 100 episodes. It's
No,
1
it's
year.
It's a
it's
year.
1 year.
I cannot get
It's
that.
the year anniversary.
1 year.
Yeah, you sent an email and you were like, the 100th episode.
Did I say
Like,
that?
Ed.
Yeah, you did in
Oh
the
my
subject
god! I
line.
cannot keep these 2 things straight. Anyway, to 1 year on
1
the
year
air.
anniversary.
Cheers.
1 year. Cheers.